It's really simple. I basically don't trust anything in reality. Not authority, not my mind, not my perception, nothing. I just trust data and numbers. And the only thing I believe in is I don't want to die. Outside of that, I'll go play around and say this and that. But if I really try to say what can I distill my existence down to, I enjoy being alive right now. And I don't want to be dead in 5 minutes. I don't want to be dead in 10 minutes. I don't want to be dead tonight. Now, what's going to happen 100 years from now? I don't know. But that's what I've really tried to do, because otherwise life is just so messy. It's so hard to understand what's really going on. It's hard to understand what to do. It's hard to understand how to resolve conflict. It's just messy and it's chaotic. And so I tried to distill this down into, in this moment in time, in 2023, and this goes back to what I was trying to do for the species. If you ask this singular question, you can do one thing with your existence, and you try to up-level the human race or make a contribution to the human race. What do you do? And that's what I just spent 10 years trying to figure out. If you look at the precedents where the first time a message was sent with a telegraph, the Pony Express was dead. Nobody wanted to run mail anymore with horses. It was so much better. The first time you could navigate with GPS, a paper map on your lap is dead. It's just inevitable. We don't do these things because it's more efficient. When you can wash your clothing in a washing machine versus down at the river. So you look at these hundreds of examples of where technology becomes sufficiently good at doing a given task. It's more efficient or cost effective or whatever the case may be. We humans adopt it extremely fast. I'm arguing with my health and wellness that my team and I have built an algorithm that takes better care of me than I can myself. It is able to look at all the data in my body. It's looking at scientific evidence. It creates an algorithm. So it creates superior cognitive ability, superior metabolic ability, superior physical ability. All above, I am a superior human because it's algorithm. So I have two options. Do I say I'm going to do things as I did and go peruse my pantry? Am I going to make decisions on the menu? No, I'm going to choose the algorithm just like I use GPS, like a washing machine, and I use autopilot on an airplane. And so it's inevitable that when these things cross the technological threshold and they allow each of us to achieve our goals, we adopt them instantaneously. Up until that point, we kick and scream. We talk about lost jobs. We talk about the fear. It's a process every single time it happens, but we ruthlessly adopt them. And so that's just what's going to happen. It's absolutely inevitable. In the early 13 colonies of America, there was a big debate on whether they should be ruled by the monarch of England or whether they should adopt democracy. And Thomas Paine wrote this pamphlet, and he argued that the colonies should adopt democracy because they would be better at ruling their own interests than having the monarch. And he talked about all the shortcomings of the monarch. And we now look back and we think, okay, democracy is actually one of the biggest advancements in the history of the human race, where you had this new way of governing away from monarchs. At the time, it was not clear. And this is an example of history of what is really cloudy in that moment. How do people see clarity? His pamphlet was the best-selling of the early American colony days, and democracy prevailed. And in that moment, democracy ended up being a more powerful system of managing human thriving. One individual as a monarch was inferior to this democratic system. I did the same thing with my body. My mind is a monarch. In the same way you just spoke about your mind is acting contrary to your best interest.
My mind is a drunken sailor.
Exactly, it is.
Yeah.
It's an absolute disaster. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. I did the same with my body. I said, who should really be in charge, the monarch, or should we have a democratic rule? And then we started with Blueprint. We started measuring every organ of my body. And we said, okay, heart, lungs, liver, pancreas, cardiovascular function, what do you need to be your best self? And I let them speak. And so I shifted the power from my monarch mind, that's a disaster, to my body to be in charge. And that's what the algorithm works with. The algorithm works directly with my body. What I'm arguing here for the human race is I'm suggesting we have always treated our mind as the ultimate authority on all things. It decides in any circumstance what it wants, when it wants, how it thinks, what it's going to prioritize. It has ultimate authority like the monarch. I'm arguing in this next phase of the human race that is an antiquated model of management of human life. There are more powerful and more capable systems of intelligence that are emergent, specifically what I've done with Blueprint, empowering my body and artificial intelligence to manage itself. Now, do I still have free will? I feel like I do. Do I still have my same agency? I feel like I do. Am I happier? I feel like I am. But it's this paired with the challenging of death is the most significant revolution in the history of Homo sapiens.